Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. Today I want to talk about what I think Nintendo has in store for us in 2021. This year, quite a few franchises will be celebrating pretty big anniversaries, so a lot of my predictions are going to be based around that. Just to list off some of the heavy hitters, we have Zelda, Pokemon, Metroid, Donkey Kong, Pikmin, and F-Zero. And some non-Nintendo anniversaries that I wanted to touch on as well include Dragon Quest, Persona, and Sonic. Obviously, anniversaries don't guarantee games, but sometimes it does work out that way. So first up, let's talk about Zelda. I would absolutely love to see a 3D Zelda collection on Switch. I really haven't touched any of the classic 3D Zelda games since I was in high school, and I've been wanting to play them again recently. Obviously, a 3D Zelda collection would consist of Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and Skyward Sword, but those are 5 meaty games, and I'm concerned that if Nintendo decides to re-release old Zelda games on the Switch, they would divide them up somehow. A couple of things to note are the previous remakes and ports of Zelda games. Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask had remakes on the 3DS, but I assume Nintendo would port the N64 versions like what we saw in the Mario collection with Mario 64. Wind Waker and Twilight Princess had HD remasters on the Wii U that retailed for full-price $60 games, so I really hope that Nintendo would bundle them together in some way rather than selling them for full price a second time, technically a third time if you include their initial releases on the GameCube and Wii. And finally, Skyward Sword is the only game that's never been ported to any other console, which makes me wonder if they would want to treat that one more as a standalone remake. But if we do get any kind of Zelda collection this year, it's going to be very interesting to see how Nintendo handles it. But given how they celebrated Mario's anniversary last year, I imagine we will see classic Zelda games on the Switch in some way, shape, or form. Alright, and next up on the list here is Donkey Kong, Donkey Kong's anniversary. If Nintendo does anything for DK's anniversary, I think I'd want a new game more than anything else. Currently, almost every mainline Donkey Kong game is already available on the Switch, except for Donkey Kong Country Returns, which was originally on the Wii, and Donkey Kong 64. While it would be nice to see those two games drop on Switch, I'd much prefer a new game. I think it's safe to say that we will eventually see a sequel to Tropical Freeze, and I would absolutely love that. But imagine if Nintendo went a step further and took a stab at 3D Donkey Kong once again. Because despite its flaws, I really enjoyed Donkey Kong 64. If they made a collectathon 3D platformer similar to Mario Odyssey but set in the DK universe with like a handful of playable characters, I would be so happy. Seriously though, why is Nintendo so weird about only making 3D platformers starring Mario? Like, what is stopping them from giving us a new 3D Donkey Kong game, or Kirby, or Yoshi, or even Wario? Remember Wario World on the GameCube? That game was so unique. Like, honestly, I just want more 3D platformers in general. It's one of my favorite genres, and yeah, you see all these articles about 3D platformers coming back, but are they really? I feel like this genre is still on life support. Alright, next up is Pokemon. One of my biggest Pokemon pipe dreams is actually already coming true this year, and that's the Pokemon Snap sequel. I honestly thought that Pokemon spin-offs on console were dead once Game Freak discovered children with smartphones and access to their parents' credit cards. But my big prediction for Pokemon in 2021 is that this year we will finally get Gen 4 remakes. I'd honestly be more surprised if this didn't happen. I assume they've been in development for a while and are using the Sword and Shield engine. We will probably see all of the new Gen 8 mechanics carry over, like Pokemon visible in the overworld raid battles, Dynamaxing, and Gigantamax forms for even more Pokemon. But other than that, I don't have much else to say. This is probably the prediction that I'm most sure will come true, I hope. Alright, and this next one isn't relating to a specific franchise. I kind of wanted to break things up a bit. But my next prediction is regarding more retro games being added to the Switch and how Nintendo will handle releasing them. It's pretty obvious that Nintendo has been slowly moving away from releasing their retro games on the Nintendo Switch Online service. They stopped doing the monthly updates after Super Nintendo games were added, like, over a year ago. I think that was, September of 2019, I think? But then they went and released the original Fire Emblem as a standalone game, when it could have just been released as part of the NSO service with all of the other NES games for no extra charge. And finally, the last bit that kind of makes me believe that they're going to move away from this is we have the limited time Mario collection that's only available until March 2021. So I keep asking this, and I'm sure other people do too, what's going to happen after March? And well, I think that Nintendo is going to start selling the 3 Mario games individually on the eShop. And at this time, I predict that they will make other N64, GameCube, and Wii games available for purchase as well. Maybe this is where we'll see Mario Galaxy 2 become available on the Switch after being oddly excluded from the Mario collection. I might be wrong about all this, I probably am, but I really just can't see Nintendo adding post-Super Nintendo era games to Nintendo Switch Online and not charging extra for them. But yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. Alright, next up is Kirby. According to a recent interview with HAL Labs, 2021 is going to be a big year for Kirby. You didn't see my air quotes, but they were there. Of course, no one knows what this means, but I'm going to play it safe and say that we'll get a new 2D Kirby game on the Switch and maybe some more spin-off games on the eShop. I didn't love Kirby Star Allies. I actually thought it was a bit of a step down from the 3DS Kirby games. So a new traditional Kirby game on the Switch would be nice if they, I don't know, just make a better one. But if they really want 2021 to be a big year for Kirby, maybe it's about time they step it up and finally make a 3D Kirby adventure. And while they're at it, how about a sequel to Kirby Air Ride? Nintendo really needs to get experimental with their franchises again. I really think they peaked in the early 2000s. Like, GameCube era was, I don't know, that was where it's at, and I just feel like they're playing it too safe all the time. Alright, just going down the list here, next up is Persona. Persona has a big anniversary this year, and I think it would be really cool if they just bundled Persona 1 through 4 and put them all on Switch. I have hope that Atlus will do something like this eventually, seeing as we're getting an HD port of Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne this year. I still think it's just dumb that Persona 5 isn't on Switch, especially with Joker and Smash and the Persona 5 spin-off coming really soon. But honestly, I'd rather see the classic Persona games get some love at this point. They really deserve it, and I mean, most people have played Persona 5 already. I think everyone who wants to play Persona 5 has already played Persona 5. So really, I think they need to show the classic Persona games some love, especially 3 and 4. Even if it's just 3 and 4, I'd be happy, honestly, but we'll see what we get. Next is Metroid. Metroid has a big anniversary this year. I think it's, 35 years of Metroid, and a lot of people want the Metroid Prime trilogy in HD, which I think makes a lot of sense, especially with Metroid Prime 4 coming to Switch eventually, hopefully. If they do some kind of Metroid collection, it would be really nice if they included the 2D games as well, at least just the GBA games, since you can already play the first Metroid and Super Metroid on Nintendo Switch Online. Alright, Dragon Quest. I don't think we'll see Dragon Quest 12 anytime soon, so I'd like to see either a remake of Dragon Quest 9, I talked about that in my 5 games that deserve a remake video, check that out if you want to hear more about why I think Dragon Quest 9 needs a remake, or that new Dragon Quest Monsters game that was teased like 2 years ago now, where you will play as a young Eric from Dragon Quest 11. Dragon Quest really saw a huge surge in popularity in the West, especially after 11 came out. So I think it's safe to say we'll see something Dragon Quest related this year, and hopefully, it's not like the type of thing where it comes out in Japan, we have to wait like 2 years for it to come to the US or the West or whatever, but we'll see. I have hope for Dragon Quest. Next, we have Sonic's 30th anniversary, and Sega usually likes to drop a game or two to coincide with the Blue Diaper Man's birthday, so I'm expecting we'll see something. Maybe a Sonic Adventure remake, maybe Sonic Mania 2, maybe a whole new 3D adventure. I'm honestly down for anything as long as it isn't completely terrible. And next, FZero has a big anniversary this year, and my prediction is that Nintendo will do nothing as usual. That's what I have written down here. And finally, we have Pikmin's 20th anniversary, and I'm really trying not to get my hopes up for this one, because I just don't want to get my heart broken again, but I really doubt we'll see anything Pikmin related, especially since we just got Pikmin 3 Deluxe last October. If Pikmin 1 and 2 were coming to Switch, I thought for sure they would have packaged them all together in a trilogy. You know, and a new Pikmin game would be nice, but, you know, and it would make sense considering, you know, they just ported Pikmin 3 to the Switch, and it did really well. Apparently it's the best-selling Pikmin game ever, in Japan at least, is what I heard. Those numbers came out recently. But I don't know, I just don't want to get my hopes up. I love Pikmin so much, and every time I get my hopes up for a new Pikmin game, I'm always let down. So, yeah, and that's pretty much all I've got right now. So, I'm sure Nintendo will have a few surprises for us in terms of brand new games in 2021, just like how last year we got, you know, Paper Mario, The Origami King, and Zelda, Age of Calamity. You know, both of those games were just kind of announced and then released in very quick succession, just out of nowhere. And, you know, with the pandemic going on and stuff, it's, you know, I'm sure lots of projects are, you know, they're not talking about them because, you know, things can keep getting worse, things can get better, and, you know, the goals they're working towards in terms of release dates, you know, it could go either way. So, you know, I'm sure there are surprises in store, but honestly, at this point, we just have no idea what's going to happen. So, but anyways, guys, let me know what you would like to see from Nintendo this year. I'm always curious to hear what other people speculate about, because I feel like I'm always asking for the same stuff. But anyway, if you want to keep up with me, you can check me out over on the Twitter, where I just kind of talk about random shit, honestly. But yeah, anyways, guys, take care, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.